I spent my 25th birthday staring at a glass tower in downtown Seattle, knowing my mother was somewhere behind those gleaming windows, and she had no idea I was coming for her. The woman who left me at Fire Station 1925 years ago wasn't supposed to be Victoria Ashford, CEO of Ashford Industries. She wasn't supposed to have a corner office on the 40th floor, a net worth of $200 million, and a perfect family that looked like it belonged on the cover of Forbes magazine. But here I was, holding a crumpled piece of paper with her address, her phone number, her entire life mapped out in black ink. 3 months of private investigator fees, sleepless nights, and maxed-out credit cards had led me to this moment. My name is Kayla Chen. Or at least, that's what the foster system called me. The firefighters who found me gave me the last name, and the social worker picked Kayla because she liked how it sounded with Chen. 25 years of wondering, and that's the depth of thought that went into naming me. I grew up knowing exactly 3 things about my birth mother. She was young. She was scared. And she left me with a note that said, "Please take care of her." I can't. 7 words. That's all I had of her for 2.5 decades. Standing outside that building, I felt the familiar weight in my stomach, that hollow ache that never really goes away when you're abandoned. It's different from regular sadness. It sits deeper, like a stone you've swallowed that never dissolves. It's the kind of hurt that makes you question your worth before you even learn to walk. I'd practiced this moment 1,000 times. What I'd say. How I'd introduce myself. But seeing her name in gold letters on the building directory made my hands shake so badly I could barely press the elevator button. The ride to the 40th floor felt eternal. I caught my reflection in the polished steel doors, messy brown hair, thrift store clothes, canvas sneakers with holes I'd tried to hide with a Sharpie. I looked exactly like what I was, a broke barista from Portland who spent her savings tracking down a mother who never wanted to be found. Her assistant was one of those intimidatingly perfect women who probably spent more on skincare than I made in a month. She looked at me like I was a lost delivery driver. "Do you have an appointment with Ms. Ashford?" "No, but..." I cleared my throat, trying to find the words I'd rehearsed. "I need to speak with her. It's personal. Ms. Ashford doesn't take unscheduled meetings. If you'd like to. Tell her it's about Fire Station 19. The words tumbled out before I could stop them. Tell her it's about the baby she left there in 1999. The assistant's perfectly applied makeup couldn't hide the way her face went pale. She stared at me for a long moment, like she was trying to solve a puzzle. Then she picked up her phone. "Ms. Ashford? There's someone here to see you. She says it's about Fire Station 19. I could hear muffled shouting through the phone. Sharp, angry words I couldn't make out. The assistant's face grew increasingly uncomfortable. "Yes, ma'am. I'll tell her." She hung up and looked at me with something that might have been pity. "Ms. Ashford says she doesn't know what you're talking about. She's calling security." "Wait, please. Just tell her I have her note. The one she left with me. Please take care of her." "I can't. Tell her I have it." This time, the assistant didn't call. She just pressed a button on her desk, and I heard locks clicking. A moment later, the massive oak door to the corner office opened. Victoria Ashford was nothing like I'd imagined. She was tall, elegant, with perfectly styled blonde hair and the kind of bone structure that screamed expensive genetics. She wore a navy suit that probably cost more than my car, and diamond earrings that caught the light every time she moved her head. She looked like she'd been born into money, raised on it, breathed it. She definitely didn't look like someone who'd ever been desperate enough to abandon a baby. "You need to leave. Now." Her voice was cold, controlled. CEO voice. The kind of voice that ended careers and killed dreams with surgical precision. "Ms. Ashford, I just want to talk." "There's nothing to talk about. I don't know what game you're playing, but I've never been to Fire Station 19. I've never left a baby anywhere. And if you don't leave immediately, I'm calling the police." I pulled the note from my pocket. 25 years old, edges worn soft from being folded and unfolded countless times. Her handwriting was different then, younger, more hurried. Desperate. Is this your handwriting? She glanced at the paper and her face went white. For just a second, her perfect composure cracked. I saw something flicker across her features, recognition, fear, maybe even guilt. But it was gone in an instant. I've never seen that before in my life. The firefighter who found me kept a copy of the incident report. September 15, 1999, 3:47 a.m. A young woman, approximately 17 years old, left a newborn infant at Fire Station 19, on Pine Street. She was seen driving away in a blue Honda Civic with a dented rear bumper. Victoria's jaw tightened. That could be anyone. Your parents' address in 1999 was 4237 Maple Drive. You were 17. You got a speeding ticket 3 months later in a blue Honda Civic, license plate HJK 4829. The silence stretched between us like a razor wire. I could hear the city buzzing 40 floors below, but the office felt vacuum-sealed. She was staring at me now, really looking. I wondered if she could see herself in my face. We had the same nose. The same stubborn chin. How much, she said finally. What? How much money do you want? Because that's what this is, isn't it? Some elaborate extortion scheme. You did your research, found a wealthy woman who had a difficult past, and now you want to cash in. The words hit me like a slap. All those years of wondering if she ever thought about me, if she ever regretted her choice, if she ever loved me even a little, and her first assumption was that I wanted money. I don't want your money. Everyone wants money. I want to know why. My voice cracked. I want to know why you left me. I want to know if you ever wondered what happened to me. She laughed. Actually laughed. It was a harsh, bitter sound. You want closure? Fine. Yes, I left a baby at a fire station 25 years ago. It was the biggest mistake of my life, not because I regretted the choice, but because I should have driven further away. I should have made sure there was no trail back to me. Each word was like ice water in my veins. I was a mistake? You were an obstacle. I was 17, I had plans, I had a future. I wasn't going to let one night of stupidity ruin my entire life. She moved to her desk, pulled out a checkbook. So tell me your price. What's it going to cost to make you disappear again? I couldn't breathe. 25 years of hoping, of imagining some grand reunion, of believing that maybe she had no choice, maybe she was forced into it, maybe she thought about me every day. I don't want your money, I repeated, but my voice was barely a whisper. 50,000. That's more than generous for someone like you. Someone like me? Let's not pretend we're in the same league. Look at you. Look at where you came from. Look at where I am. She gestured around the office. I built this. I earned this. I'm not going to let some fire station foundling destroy what I've worked for. Fire station foundling. The phrase hit me like a physical blow. I'm your daughter. You're a mistake I fixed 25 years ago. That's when something inside me snapped. Not broke, snapped. Like a rubber band that had been stretched to its limit for decades. I pulled out my phone and started recording. What are you doing? Documenting this conversation. For the DNA test. What DNA test? The one we're going to take. Because when the media finds out that Victoria Ashford, the woman who built her empire on family values and supporting single mothers, abandoned her own baby at a fire station. I let the sentence hang in the air. Her face went from pale to gray. You wouldn't. Try me. For the first time since I'd walked into her office, Victoria Ashford looked truly afraid. She sank into her chair, suddenly looking every one of her 42 years. What do you want? I want the truth. I want a DNA test. And I want the world to know who you really are. If you do this, you'll destroy everything. My family, my company, my reputation. Did you think about destroying my life when you left me at that fire station? That was different. How? Because you were nobody. You were nothing. Just some unwanted baby that would have ruined everything I worked for. I stopped the recording. 23 minutes of her denying me, insulting me, reducing me to a price tag and a problem to be solved. I'll give you 1 week to agree to the DNA test voluntarily. If you don't, I'm taking this recording to every news outlet in Seattle. I walked out of that office feeling strange. Not victorious, exactly. Not satisfied. But for the first time in my life, I wasn't the powerless one. I wasn't the abandoned baby or the foster kid or the barista who didn't matter. I was the one with the power to destroy her perfect world. The week that followed was the longest of my life. I kept expecting her to call, to somehow make this go away with lawyers or money or threats. But my phone stayed silent. On the 7th day, I kept my promise. I started with a local news blogger who specialized in corporate scandals. Sarah Martinez had been covering Ashford Industries for years, documenting Victoria's rise from nobody to CEO, her marriage to real estate mogul David Ashford, her 2 perfect children who attended private schools and summered in the Hamptons. I have a story for you, I told her over coffee. But you're going to want to sit down. When I played the recording, Sarah's eyes went wide. By the time it finished, she was already pulling out her laptop. This is huge. But I need proof. Anyone can claim to be someone's child. I'm working on the DNA test. But I have the hospital records, the fire station incident report, and her parents' old address. Plus there are photos of her from high school. We look exactly alike. Sarah stared at me, really seeing the resemblance for the first time. Holy shit. You really are her daughter. The story went live at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday. By noon, it had been picked up by 3 major news networks. By evening, it was trending on social media. The headlines were brutal. CEO who built empire on family values abandoned own baby. Fire station foundling confronts billionaire mother. The Ashford scandal, when success comes at any cost. My phone started ringing non-stop. Reporters, talk show producers, documentary filmmakers. Everyone wanted the abandoned baby story. Everyone wanted to know how it felt to be rejected by the woman who preached about supporting families. But the call that mattered came at 11 p.m., 3 days after the story broke. This is Victoria Ashford. I'd been expecting anger, threats, legal warnings. Instead, her voice was empty. Defeated. I'll take the DNA test. Good. But I want you to know, this is going to destroy innocent people. My husband knew nothing about this. My children, they're going to see their mother painted as a monster. Maybe you should have thought about that 25 years ago. I was 17, Kayla. I was scared and alone and I made the only choice I could see. Don't you dare try to make me feel sorry for you now. I'm not. I want you to understand. I wasn't the woman I am now. I was a kid who got pregnant by some boy whose name I barely remembered. I had no support, no resources, no options. I thought I was doing the right thing. Giving you a chance with people who could actually take care of you. For a moment, I almost believed her. Almost let myself imagine that 17-year-old girl, terrified and desperate. But then I remembered her words in that office. Obstacle. Mistake. Fire station foundling. If that's what you told yourself to sleep at night, fine. But don't insult me by pretending it was noble. The DNA test results came back exactly as expected. 99.97% probability of maternal relationship. The news outlets had a field day. But something strange happened as the story gained traction. Public opinion began to split. Half the people saw Victoria as a monster. A hypocrite who built her fortune preaching family values while abandoning her own child. They called for boycotts of her company, demanded her resignation, painted her as the worst kind of villain. The other half saw her as a victim of circumstances. A teenage girl who made an impossible choice and went on to build something meaningful with her life. They argued that safe haven laws existed for exactly this reason, that she'd followed the law, that she had every right to privacy. The comment sections were war zones. She was 17 and alone. What would you have done? She could have chosen adoption. She didn't have to abandon the baby like trash. She gave the baby to people trained to help. That's not abandonment, that's responsibility. If she really cared about the baby, she would have found a way to be part of her life. Easy to judge when you've never been desperate. Easy to make excuses when you've never been abandoned. I watched it all unfold from my tiny apartment in Portland, feeling like I was watching my life become a public referendum. Strangers were debating my worth, my mother's choices, my right to know where I came from. Then the Ashford family's official statement came out. It was polished, professional, calculated. Victoria acknowledged that she had indeed left a baby at Fire Station 19 in 1999, confirmed that DNA testing had established a parental relationship with Kayla Chen, and expressed regret for any pain caused. But buried in the corporate speak was a single line that cut me to the bone: while we acknowledge the biological relationship, we do not feel that a family connection is appropriate at this time. Even with the whole world watching, even with her reputation in shambles, even with proof that I was her daughter, she still didn't want me. The media circus continued for weeks. Victoria stepped down as CEO amid the scandal. Her marriage reportedly became strained. Her teenage children faced bullying at their elite private school. Ashford Industries stock price plummeted. And through it all, I felt empty. I'd thought that exposing her would bring me closure. I'd thought that proving she was my mother would fill that hollow space inside me. Instead, I felt more alone than ever. Because now I knew, beyond any doubt, that she had chosen to leave me. Not because she was too young or too scared or too poor to raise me. But because I was inconvenient. Because I didn't fit into her plans. Because she literally valued her ambitions more than my life. 6 months after the story broke, I got an unexpected visitor. I was working my shift at the coffee shop when a teenage girl walked in. She was maybe 16, with Victoria's bone structure and expensive clothes that screamed private school. She ordered a latte, and when I handed it to her, she said quietly, "I'm Emma. Emma Ashford. My half-sister." We sat in the back corner of the coffee shop, two strangers connected by DNA and scandal. She looked nervous, fidgeting with her phone, glancing around like she was afraid of being recognized. "I wanted to meet you," she said finally. Before I formed an opinion based on what everyone else was saying. What are they saying? Depends who you ask. Mom's friends think you're a gold digger. Dad thinks you're justified but handled it wrong. My brother thinks the whole thing is stupid drama. What do you think? Emma was quiet for a long time, studying my face. "I think you look exactly like Mom did in her high school pictures. And I think if I'd been left at a fire station as a baby, I'd want answers too." We talked for 2 hours. She told me about growing up in the Ashford house, about the pressure to be perfect, about Victoria's obsession with image and control. She told me about the family dinners where charity work was discussed like business strategies, about the Christmas cards that were professionally staged, about the way her mother could switch from loving parent to corporate shark in seconds. "She's not evil," Emma said as she got ready to leave. "But she's complicated. She loves us, but it's like she loves the idea of us more than who we actually are. We're part of her perfect life picture. And I didn't fit in the picture." "No. You didn't." After Emma left, I sat alone in that coffee shop for hours, thinking about family and choice and the weight of secrets. I thought about Victoria, 17 and pregnant, making a decision that would haunt 2 lives. I thought about the foster families who'd tried to love me, about the social workers who'd seen me as just another case file, About the years I'd spent wondering if I was worth keeping. I realized something that night. I'd been looking for validation from the wrong person. Victoria Ashford had made her choice 25 years ago. She'd made it again in her office. She'd made it in her public statement. She'd made it clear, over and over, that she didn't want to be my mother. But that didn't mean I wasn't worth wanting. The people who'd raised me in foster care, the teachers who'd believed in me, the friends who'd stood by me through this circus, they'd all chosen me. Maybe not biologically, but they'd chosen to love me, support me, see value in me. Victoria's rejection said nothing about my worth. It said everything about her limitations. 2 years later, I'm living in Seattle now. I transferred from the Portland coffee shop to one downtown, about 6 blocks from the Ashford Industries building. Sometimes I see her on the street, usually surrounded by bodyguards or hurrying between black cars. We don't acknowledge each other. Emma and I meet for coffee sometimes. She's in college now, studying social work. She says the scandal changed her perspective on family, on privilege, on the stories we tell ourselves about who deserves what. Her brother, Marcus, reached out once through social media. He said he was sorry for what I'd been through, but that he needed to protect his family's privacy. I understood. He didn't choose to be part of this story any more than I chose to be abandoned. Victoria rebuilt her career, quietly. She works for a smaller firm now, keeps a lower profile. Her marriage survived, though barely. She does charity work with organizations that support foster children, which the cynics say is image rehabilitation and the optimists say is genuine growth. I don't know which it is, and I don't care anymore. People ask me sometimes if I regret going public with the story. If I regret destroying her perfect life, breaking up her family, causing all that pain and chaos. The answer is complicated. I regret that innocent people got hurt. I regret that Emma and Marcus had to deal with the fallout of choices they never made. I regret that the media turned my personal pain into entertainment. But I don't regret demanding the truth. I don't regret refusing to stay hidden. I don't regret insisting that my existence mattered, even if it was inconvenient. For 25 years, I was Victoria Ashford's shameful secret. For 25 years, she got to pretend I didn't exist while building a fortune on family values she'd never lived. Now the world knows who she really is. And more importantly, I know who I am. I'm not the fire station foundling. I'm not the abandoned baby. I'm not the obstacle or the mistake or the problem to be solved. I'm Kayla Chen. I'm a survivor. I'm someone who fought for her own truth and won. And that's enough. If you've got a story about family secrets that changed everything, drop it in the comments. Sometimes the truth hurts, but lies hurt worse. Hit subscribe if you want more real stories about real people facing impossible choices.